At Lunamart, we've got everything you need for your next reality jump. Rations, radios, and replacement soles. Open 24 hours a day on most timelines. Lunamart, now serving realities 4 through 6.
This Halloween night, Fringe FM becomes Haunted Radio. Then, at 7 p.m., the curtain rises for The Sinister Symphony, a brand new horror radio drama. It's one night only, and tickets are disappearing fast. Get yours now at Eventbrite. Haunted Radio, here on Fringe FM.
Attention listeners. Prolonged exposure to fringe frequencies may cause altered perception, deja vu, and inconvenient enlightenment. If symptoms persist, don't change the dial.
Say in your mind, say to yourself, I am more than my physical body. Because I am more than physical matter, I can perceive that which is greater than the physical world. I deeply desire to expand, to experience, understand, to control, to use, and energy systems as may be beneficial and constructive to me and to those who follow me. I deeply desire the help and cooperation, the assistance, the understanding of those individuals whose wisdom, development, and experience are equal to or greater than my own. I ask their guidance and protection from any influence or any source that might provide me with less than my stated desires.
Do not know all the answers to the questions about reality. Do not claim to know the ultimate truth about fire. I seek that which has been made hidden. As a part of a family of explorers of consciousness, I'm the void one.
Welcome to Lighting the Void.
Broadcasting live from a shack on a hill in the Mossy Creek bottoms of Cane Creek, Arkansas. This is Lighting the Void Live. This is also Cosmic Conditions. It's that time again, man. Mary Dusina is back. We're going to be going all night talking about, well, not all night, but for the next couple hours talking about what's going on in the cosmic airwaves. 6 years running and then some. Last one before Halloween. And speaking of which, a little surprise for you. Some of you I know are going to be happy. But you know that we're doing a Halloween special. And you know that we're going to be partying down October the 30th, October the 31st, live on the radio station, as we always do. Especially late night. That's the best time to tune in. But it's going to be, I don't know. It'll be good to be tuned in the whole time. Why? Because Mary is going to be making an appearance during Halloween right around her birthday. Isn't that something? If you didn't know, there is no witchier woman than Mary Dusina, a Scorpio, born on Halloween. It's a pretty trippy thing. But I'm very grateful that you're going to make an appearance during our Halloween special. That's going to be fun. What are we going to do?
Well, it's actually the Hallows Eve. It's the eve of the Celtic known Samhain, or the Celtic Gaelic holiday of celebrating the autumn gifts. And, there was often the bonfires, and there was the hunting. There's a lot of hunting season going on in these Appalachian Mountains right now. So the people that are mountain survivalists that actually are hunting, whatever they're hunting, to feed themselves. It's not sport killing, but they're actually in October, November hunting to feed their actual families. So I'm not a hunter. I'm the nature woman that feeds the creatures. We all know that.
I eat them.
But when you get right. So, but I mean, listen, survivalists are survivalists because we've got to have those people out there that learned how to do plumbing and learn how to do mechanics and know how to raise chickens and be able to, be like the Mormons and the Amish and the Mennonite, to be able to be the native peoples, the indigenous cultures, to be able to say, if you're going to move away from your little modern high-tech social media stuff and your chat and your AI, and should your grid go down, there's a whole lot of people. There's a whole cultural cross-section of skilled people that know about herbs and know about animal husbandry and know about the survival of it and the caretaking of all this. And so this time of year in the Northern Hemisphere, when we came to the autumnal equinox here in the Northern Hemisphere, in the third week of September, when the sun, the great star of our Milky Way galaxy, moves into the sign of Libra. And so here at this new moon, we're actually in the next new moons that finish out the year, the next 3 months of 2025, the new moons will be in different signs, but they will be at 28 degrees. And 28, when you look at the study of numbers, this one's at 28 Libra. November's will be at 28 Scorpio. December's will be at 28 Sagittarius. So when you get into these late degrees of our celestial flavors, you're getting that oomph. As you get to the 28th, 29th degree, you're getting into, instead of being at the beginning of a sign, people will talk about a cusp. They'll say, well, I'm the very end of Virgo, so I'm kind of on the cusp of Libra. That would mean you would be at early Libra. But if you're born toward the end of a sign, like right now for those Libras that are born at this October point, this where the sun is getting ready to change to the next sign, those of you that are at the cusp, if you will, of the last 2 degrees of Libra, tomorrow the sun's in Scorpio. So this is that final burst of the Libra signature that began back on that September 21st, September 22nd, when we had a 29 degree Virgo eclipse. So this is the first new moon that kind of opens up a new door, opens up a portal of peace after we've had this intensity of the primary Virgo, Libra, Pisces type of dynamics this year, which really, since May of 2025, the focus has kind of slam dunked us. Like, the basketball kept going right through the hoop. as far as the actual category of our life being, what is it that you need to heal? Your body is erupting. Joe and I spoke about that starting back in July of this year. Once we turned into summer solstice in the third week of June, I said, listen, I'm telling you, as we come into July, August, there's this area in the trunk of our body, our digestion, how's your skin doing? Is it erupting? How's your colon? How's your stomach? What's going on? Are you held back? Are you constipated? Are things wanting? Is the pressure? So I can promise you, the pressure is wanting to come off, and it's gonna. So there was some kind of like a lot of volcanic things that were going on internally with us, and I can't tell you how many people that have talked to me since the summer of 2025 about, I seem to be having gut issues. I seem to be having like disruptive issues. And I was talking to Joe the last 2 weeks. I keep hearing people talk to me about their circadian rhythm is off, like they get really sleepy. And they normally don't do that between 1 and 4 in the afternoon. Then when they finally get their stuff done, play their games, do what they're going to do, and say, man, I've got to unplug and I've got to sleep. Then it's blink, 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 and they're wide awake. And astronomers and people that study space weather understand that in our biochemistry, we are also electromagnetic. So we have like electrolytes and we have magnetic things. Our heart gives off tremendous magnetic vibrations in ancient Oriental, and Hindu, yin yang. So we started to have a shift. Just to recap a little bit, Joe, we started to have a shift in March of this year of the planetary governors shifting more from yin, magnetic, feminine, or more intuitive signs, things bouncing out of Pisces when Saturn and Neptune first went into Aries and that dance in the M months. I talked about the M&Ms, the March and the May. And now we've got the cycle, the final wrapping up of Saturn retrograde in Pisces right now, and it'll roll through for a little while. But the timeline, astrology can help you when you look at divine timing. Lisa Allen likes to call the work she does divine timing. So when you understand that there is and can be a better, unique time frame for what you do, if you're going to do it anyway, why not pick the best time frame that suits your own signature? So Saturn started dancing in the year of 2012. Remember that one, the Mayan calendar, long count. So 2012 is when Saturn danced into the sign of Pisces. It only goes into a sign every 30 years. So we're closing out a cycle. For the last few months of 2025, we're now beginning to realize how we dreamed, what we need to face, where we were enabling, what we were in denial of, and how much of us have opened our eyes, not only about our own motivations and our own weaknesses and our own need to overcome since the year of 2012, people, 2012, 2013. So, and then also 1995. So these are cycles. If you'll look at, I'm sorry, the Saturn one's 1995. If you'll look at the shifts and the changes that you made in 1995 into 1996, if you'll look at the shifts and changes that you made with the last Jupiter in Cancer cycle of 2012 and 2013, there is this intensity that's going on right now that's saying to us with this particular seventh sign, Libra, the energy of the seventh chakra, the energy of Venus. So Libra is about, it's not an ordinary new moon. It's not an ordinary lunation. It's a different kind of portal. And it's got what we call, and I'm not going to get too fancy with you, but it's got an energizing, think about the pink Energizer battery, character that bangs the drums on whatever that battery brand is, but it's the pink Energizer bunny, and he keeps banging the drum, and he's like, ready kilowatt. He never stops. There's a momentum here because there is a planetary alignment connection. It's kind of like they're being forced to look at each other in the eye, involving the cardinal signs of this lunation. The sun and the moon are in Libra, and Chiron and Eris are opposite that in Aries. And then we have Jupiter, which is benevolent. It is exalted, dignified in the sign of Cancer, the crab. So these are primal, personal, dynamic configurations that it's almost like if you think about the difference between a pressure cooker and a slow cooker, what we call a crock pot in the South. This is growth and change and breakthrough on both our personal lives and a collective level. So when you know that there's a T-square between what we call the signs that initiate action, the cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, Libra are involved. Capricorn is also involved, but it's not a real big dance in the signs, the planet's positions right now. The pressure cooker energy of what we call a square, a 90-degree angle in sacred geometry, is demanding that a long-standing challenge or point of tension or fear finally resolves. And so this alignment, this Aries, Libra, Cancer, the crab alignment is kind of pitting within us the desire for peace and justice against any raw wounds of ourself, where we need emotional security, where we need more sweetness, more soft moments, because that tension point is Jupiter in the sign of the moon. Cancer, the crab, rules the moon. So this is amplifying our thoughts toward the themes of our home, where we feel safe, where we feel secure, where we can let our hair down. What is our tribal or national or cultural identity? You know, maybe we're weary from being so divided. Libra's like, look, you can have an opposite or equal opinion. You can have that, but why are you letting that be either the draining or the propulsion of your energy, where you're disregarding your own personal life and the people that love you and the dreams that you want to manifest based on social media or some kind of political thing or religious angst? It's just stop using that as an excuse to try to release pent-up frustrations or resentments or angers. Libra says stop looking at it externally. Stop blaming, well, I hate that job, or I don't like that political party, or not, you know, I identify as this, or I don't like those. I mean, or I'm going to drive aggressively. The whole Aries need for speed thing. So this is about calm. Libra is about sweetness. Libra is about, you know, I can find my voice without screaming. So it's a focus on equality, treaties, diplomacy, civil things out there, absolutely. Because what Libra, this particular Libra new moon is saying, because tomorrow the sun's in Scorpio, we're at such late degree. Right now, Mercury and Mars are already in Scorpio. The sun joins it tomorrow. So our great star joins the Scorpio triad tomorrow, and we start digging into the depths. What's at the roots of this? Where do we need to do some soul surgery? Where do we need to go deeply within ourselves? If we look at the four main elements of our beingness, if we look at how are we doing spiritually, what's going on emotionally, what's going on in our mind, our mental self, and how is it affecting our physical self? The eclipses this year said, we're going to let you look at what's going on with your health. Are you taking responsibility for changing attitude, mindset, strongholds in the mind? The Bible talks about, can you get a hold of these things that have had a grip on you, a strong hold on your thinking and your beliefs since 1995, since 2012, 2013. These are cycle bounces of when the impetus of right now, the propulsion energy of right now said, here's a clue. Who were you with? What was the theme? What mattered? Where did you live? How was your home life? Who did you break up with? Who moved in? Who moved out? And besides them, on how you interacted there, what can you do to pat yourself on the back instead of criticizing yourself on how far you've come since 1995, since 2012 into 2013? So this new moon kind of has a bit of a fragile button to it. It's showing us, look at the difference between, quote, keeping the peace and being able to tell the truth. This is the first non-eclipse Libra reset portal cycle since the Aries Libra cycle began in 2023. And it's landing on, if you will, a bit of a fault line that says, will we be civil or do we always have to confront something? It's between what we say and what we mean. And so this is about exposing any kind of anger inflation or people pleasing that keep us imbalanced because we're wanting to be people pleasers or overt empaths or keeping the peace. Well, I don't bring that up with that relative because Lordy day, they'll explode, or I can't talk about that around them. So this is about both personally and collectively. Are we thinking that we're keeping the peace, but we're really avoiding? So if you know the people are locked in and there's a stronghold in their beliefs, there's a stronghold in their mind, and they've decided to stay there. They've decided to live in that mindset, and no thing is going to get them off that point. This is the way I see life. That's the way it is. I don't care what you think. This is what I got to have, some kind of security in my life. And right here, right there is where I'm at. And if you don't like it, just get on down the road. I mean, there are those kind of personalities that say they get exhausted from fighting. And so they dig their heels in on, I've got to identify as, however you want to define it. I identify as this. I'm a conservative, or I'm a Baptist, or I'm this, or I'm that, or whatever it is. And instead of really enjoying the fruits of some of these beliefs or cultural dynamics, I always go back to, I don't need a title or a definition. How are you showing up in the world? Are you a kind person? Are you a truthful person? I don't need to know what your label is. I'm going to watch what you do. And Libra says to us, the balance of our life shows us that don't ignore your fears, but instead allow them as teachers, not directors of your life, but as teachers that let us dive into the process. Libra is an air sign. It's a process of clearing and cleansing on a soul level, on a spiritual level, that which governs the deepest mind, air sign, mental constructs that may have, consider the possibility, stalled our progress. So we can take advantage of these dynamics of these different sign recipes right now in October of 2025, Mars being in a place that it likes to be in Scorpio. So, and it's getting along with Jupiter in Cancer, and it's getting along with Saturn in Pisces. We've got a grand trine going on with the water signs. And I will venture to say that the things that we had in our dreams or our goals back in 1995 when Saturn did this dance 30 years ago, those dreams, those visions, if you look back on then, 1995, and all that we've gone through, depending on your age, over this last 29 to 30 years, you'll be ready to give yourself a pat on the back and go, man, yeah, I went through some tough tidal waves with that. So this is a final phase. This is the release point of 2025. You know, when we were in Aries, when we had those eclipses in March of this year, this is a release of the endings, the doors that are shutting to what we were involved with, how we did look at it, what we always did to cope, or the strategy that we always used. And finally, we're realizing, you know what, I have other strategies just besides that. Maybe I was caught in a repetitive psychological loop. Maybe I've been self-destructive. So this is an initiation, Joe. This is an initiation of an entire new phase, because we're not going to have Saturn and Neptune back in the initiating sign of Aries until February 20th of 2026. So these coming months, look at it as we're all experiencing the grand finale of any attempts of anything deceiving us, including ourself to ourselves. So Libra is the peace. And even when you look at the colors of Libra, Libra's colors are pastels. I mean, Libra is the colors of the flowers that begin to pop out in spring. You know, a lot of Libra clients that I know love to wear Aries color. They love to wear red. But Libra's colors are the blend of red and white, which contains the pink, the mauves, the pinks, the softer colors, you know, the pinks of a sunrise or a sunset. So instead of the fiery reds of Aries. So on a personal level, the more that we focus on transforming our own internal perceptions toward a more authentic reflection of the God-gifted sovereignty of our soul. We had breath, we had sacred breath, air, ether. We had the breath of life put into us, and we can argue until the cows come home. on who did it, how it happened, what religion it is, the cultural, the history, and all that. But the phenomena is this earth temple had some kind of supernatural equation that happened, that it's not just bones and skin and fantastic intelligence of cells and DNA and RNA and all of that, and the grand helix of multidimensional awareness and realities that we're waking up to. But we have soul powers. We have sovereignty. And so however it is that you find your spiritual anchor, your soul anchor, the piece of, for me, it's Holy Spirit, Great Spirit, same thing for me. Holy Spirit, Almighty I Am. If I come up against a conflict, if I come up against a burp or this or that, I simply say, Holy Spirit, take it. Take it. You are my director. Almighty I Am. Be here now. Imbue me. Come into this moment. I step back. I acquiesce. I bow to you. I know that there was something sacred and holy that allowed me to even still be here at this point. You know, we are here. We're listening to each other. We're interacting with each other. And Libra reminds us, get out into the sun. You know, walk out into nature. There's a reason why people get excited when spring is happening and the new life is happening and autumn is starting to show us, you know, the leaves are turning colors of the fire, you know, the golds and the reds. And so Libra is saying to us, these are the fires of desires. These are the times of change. And look back on 2025 and look at what you finally overcame and where you're willing to put your toe into the water and say, you know what, I've kind of always poo-pooed that. I've been a little milquetoast about that. I didn't want to create conflict, so I didn't say anything. You don't have to go convince anybody else. Move yourself forward. You know, you're moving forward in this life walk. And so the more that we realize that we never lost the connection with the holy codes, we plug into it whenever we grant permission. And so that's why I say, if you ask knowing that you'll receive, there's a difference in that. There's a different engine with that instead of just petitioning or asking. Libra is about the scales of balance. Libra is about the 10th tarot card of the Wheel of Fortune. You know, the wheel spins, the Wheel of Destiny spins. It's and the Suit of Swords. It's the Four of Swords, and it's about the four directions, the four main times of a year, the different seasonal changes. It's about the four expressions of our sovereignty of ourself. You know, so we're looking at what part of ourself right now are we allowing not to be deceiving. Like, we don't want to deceive. We can simply, it's okay. Libra sometimes will avoid confrontation because the other person might be stuck where they are. So we might not open up a debate with them, but we might also remind ourselves that if it's okay for them to believe what they believe, it's also okay for me to believe what I believe. So I respect your space. I'm not pushing you to believe like I do. Don't try to do it to me. So that's where the scales get off balance. And so the biggest thing I want to point out right now, with Saturn bouncing back into Pisces, Mercury getting ready to retrograde around November 9th. We're in that, what they call the pre-shadow period of rearranging our thinking. We have such a powerful connection right now in this third week of October to manifest, really manifest. It's game on. You don't have to push anybody or even push yourself. It's just the manifestation horizon is right there. It's right there. We've got Mercury and Mars and Scorpio. Scorpio is that ability to listen to your gut, to trust your intuition, to know that you were born with and you have developed really nice intuitive skills. And Joe and I were talking about before we came on air tonight, these little technical glitches or the way you're watching drivers just absolutely do crazy things in traffic. I'm hearing that for the last 2 years about just how bizarre it is out there. It's like people have kind of lost their mind with the risk they're taking with driving and come over into other people's lanes. And we were talking about the sleep cycles being off, the Orionids meteor shower is happening, the three comets, you know, Swan and Comet Lemon, and the interstellar, whatever it is. They were calling it Atlas 3I, and I'm calling it Atlas, the Atlas, which was in Greek mythology, the one that lifted up the world. You know, Atlas was carrying the world on his shoulders, and I'm calling it third eye Atlas. Maybe our third eye, our pineal gland, is opening up, where it says in the Bible, "Let thine eye be single."
Yep.
And
If
so
thine
let
eye
it
be single, the whole
let-
body will fill with light. Yep.
Absolutely. So I believe, I told Joe, I don't remember a time in my adult life, and my father being in NASA, I had to know about comets and what was going on and all. I had a whole lot of astronomy on me. And I don't, even as an astrologer studying the patterns of a star, I don't remember a time in my life where they were talking about 3 different comets dancing around. And this Atlas third eye, as I'm calling it, comes in really strong. It comes strong conjunction with the sun over October 29th. And then supposedly right before, Joe, Yuletide, winter solstice is when it makes its closest approach to Earth. But right now, the positions of Comet Swan and Comet Lemon and the whole dance of what's going on over our heads, plus the Orion meteor showers that are pretty strong over the next couple of nights, and coronal mass ejections. There were a couple of X-flares. If you study solar storms, some Earth-facing, some not. This last weekend, they were Earth-facing. And, we had, Amazon and some other things went down. They had the internet glitches. And I think it reminds us, when we don't have access to that phone or that app or that internet, it reminds us this stuff here that we're used to, that we take for granted, all this internet stuff and the rapid fire responses and direct messaging. Remember, it was 30 years ago, around 1993, 1992, when the internet came on, when it used to be called WWW, the World Wide Web. So go back 30 years to that time. I seem like I remember 1992, 1993, when the computers were really big and all that kind of stuff. So we've become dependent on that as one of our main tools of communication. But I'm feeling as an intuitive that we have post-traumatic stress disorder in a greater or lesser degree since the lockdowns of 2020. And so this is reminding us that we are emotional creatures. We are fabulously designed, beautiful blueprints of God. And so we have to not just give our power to the government or to, astrology or the rabbi or the priest only. This is about, I already was created from and with the divine. I already am one with the divine. So I feel like that the last 3 months of 2025 are a lot to do with us reinvigorating our divine relationship, our mystical marriages. And you can love who you love, have the family that you have, the parents and the children, but you didn't come in the birth canal with them. They were add-ons. Call it karma, call it fate, call it tribe. But this is your time to reignite. Before we go into the American holidays, this is your time right now as autumn is showing us we're completing the cycle of 2025 visually. This is the time to say to yourself, yeah, I want to amplify and receive the connections of that which is holy, that which is sacred, that which is, as you said, Joe, let thine eye be single, and therefore ye shall be filled with light. This is a time to reconnect with light.
Right on. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of biblical messages like that are, pretty much tell you what's happening inside you if you can just see past the literal version of them, I mean, even that message, that literal verse is, you can look at it literally and it still means the same thing,
Well, it is. You can answer it for yourself. Do I feel like I have balance? Do I feel like I have a sense of equilibrium between giving and receiving, masculine and feminine, the self and others? So our energy fields right now are undergoing quite a harmonic realignment because Venus rules the sign of Libra. And so Venus right now is beginning to dance in that energy. She governs the sign of, that it's Libra season. Venus, her masculine rulership of Libra is the masculine or the yang sign that Libra is powerful in. And when Venus also rules the feminine or the yin sign of Taurus. So Venus is going to do her bounce. I mean, she bounced into the sign of Libra on the 14th. Pluto went direct in Aquarius. We've got these air signs dancing around. So Venus is in her element when we had the full moon. at the beginning of this month. Mars was strong. It ruled that full moon in Aries. And so what we've got right now is Aries is the I am, and Libra is kind of like the we can or we are. So we team up when we get to Libra, not because we're not acknowledging ourselves, but we're also saying, listen, I'm pretty gifted in certain areas of my life, that can be amplified because that person is gifted over there and that. And it's not that you're too weak or too strong, but it's just like we can amplify each other. Libra can be the win-win. That's the balance of the scale. So right now, we may see during this new moon, where is our energy field undergoing a harmonic tune-up, a harmonic realignment. So we're allowing, by our choice, we're allowing any kind of karmic relationship patterns to surface in a peaceful way for healing. They may show up in your life as we're revisiting past connections that mirrored unresolved lessons. We're clearing, washing, cleansing, decluttering emotional cords that once felt unbreakable. Snap, snap, we're liberated. Realizing where love was conditional or one-sided, both within ourselves as well as our expectations of the other person and their expectations of us. If we release the guilt around walking away from that which is proven to be an imbalance, then we, as initiates, Aries is the initiation, that's the opposite sign to Libra. Then as initiates, there's a fresh emotional shower of light coming in, but it reaches deeper into our soul contract layers, and it clears up all kinds of former distortions. So we have a new moon in Libra. Libra is focused on relationships, balance, self-worth. When we have the sun and moon, like we do for this time in 2025, both in the sign of Libra, Venus and Libra, the energy is intense for partnerships. What are we committed to? What do we want to be a part of, to assist, to be a part of the team, that the friendships, that the balance between give and take, how we show up for others, how we show up with the integrity of ourselves. Libra rules fairness. It's achievement. It's wanting to achieve peace, and so it's connection and it's boundaries. If we to thine own self be true, then the other person doesn't have to panic around us, because whether they like us or not, we're showing them who we really are. And let me tell you something. When you show up as who you really are instead of hiding that in order to please people, people get a sense of security. Why? Because whether they like it or not, they'll feel safe around you because you do what you say you'll do. You are what you profess to be. So there's security in that. You're not playing games. You're not wanting to hook or crook or be the snake oil salesman. You're not into doing that. So people feel safe in your energy, even if they need to do it a different kind of way. So you're going to see in your interactions, you're going to realize in your decisions, and even in the energy around you, what feels attractive, what feels like it's supported. So Venus, which is Libra's ruler, very active during this particular new moon, which is very strong over the next 2 weeks, by the way. It launched today, but it rolls out. New moons are seeds of change that roll out over the next 2 weeks until we get to the full moon. Over, when we get all the way close to November 5th and 6th, and we're going to have the sun in Scorpio and the full moon in Taurus. That's when we're going to be looking at the fruits of our labor. We're beginning to see some financial blessings, and we're going to again have to balance. Oh, good, I've got extra money. Now I'm going to go wild, or I'm going to do it a little bit different than I did it in the past. I don't want to go just blow it all, because maybe that's what I've done before in the past. I doubted myself financially, so when I finally get some money, I got to hurry up and go do all the things, go shopping and do this and do that, but I've never done it. No, take a more balanced vibration of it, and then you'll actually see who or what deserves your energy. Libra isn't just about romance only. Oh, no. You're going to start noticing where you've been compromising too much or giving away your power in order to, quote, keep the peace or let them have their way. So, and even esoterically, spiritually, it's also a time for us to take ownership of resetting our connections, our patterns, the people, or the behaviors that no longer serve the best, better versions of ourselves. There's some tense dynamics between Jupiter and Pluto. Pluto's, got that 0-degree point of Aquarius. It turned direct around the 12th, 13th, depending on where you live. Pluto rules the sign of Scorpio, a lot of Scorpio energy coming up. So the power struggles that we've had in the past, where somebody said, full stop, no, hard pass, I'm not. If we know that's who they are, we're not out to change them. We just realize that may not be the connection that we need to plug into right now. We may not need to have always such emotional high tides or intensity or situations where someone else's control or influence needs to be tested in our life. These moments aren't here to scare us. Shift your perception. There are opportunities for us to each see, regardless of our signs, clearer and clearly what's working and what's not. And if a connection feels draining, misaligned, or certainly unfair, this new moon encourages action away from that which is draining or debilitating to us, even if that behavior is our own. And if when we show up like that, it's draining or it's self-defeating or it's debilitating. It all starts with mirror work. It all starts with taking responsibility for our own actions and where we get thrown off balance. So it's time to make decisions that put your energy first, cut ties with what has kept you stuck, because these are setting intentions around win-win alliances, win-win friendships and collaborations, and allowing the self-respect. Stop doubting yourself. Stop giving yourself wrong type of pep talks of like, well, it only worked for a while. You can't believe them, or all men are like this, or all women are like that.
Yeah, that
Stop
stuff
that.
is getting really old, man. It really is.
It doesn't work. It just simply doesn't work. You could line up 10 women and 10 men and look at all their relationships. It will not be exactly the same.
You see this stuff on social media too, right? Like, men want this, and in order to please men, or you'll see something that women want this in order to please women. It's like, man, you guys have categorized yourself into just basic shelves, haven't you? Like, that's all you are now. You're just all, like, I can't stand it.
That's predictable. No, well, because God is unique. The divine is ever changing, ever evolving, and so are we. I'm not defined just by psychology. We certainly, now here's the truth, we certainly were all affected by the events of our early years, our childhood years, but we don't have to be infected by that. We can look at that as a template of a reference point only, like, okay, I went to first grade in school. That's not applicable now. It was very front and center when I was in first grade or ninth grade or graduated high school, or you did that technical school or college or whatever. But those years were teachers and lessons and levels, but it isn't just who you are now. We are continually releasing and adding different tools, different skill sets, and sometimes it's a very good tool. When the hammer wears out or you break the handle, that's not an evil thing. You say, oh, I got to go get another I got to go get another hammer. It's time for me to get a new hammer. That's not evil. It's just, oh, okay, that hammer's done. That nail, I can't do that nail in the wall anymore. So you level up with it, but still that old hammer that you had, that old sledgehammer or that old, Phillips screwdriver served so many times and did so good for you when you were putting up the pictures or doing this or doing that. And so it's okay to look at the tool and go, you know what, you've been around for a long time. You were the perfect screwdriver. You were the perfect hammer. We just go on and we just get agitated when something doesn't work. So Libra reminds us to take that pause and say, why don't you look at how many times that did work for you? Why don't you just give thanks for all the times that car that eventually wore out or broke down or got too old saved your ass out of an accident or hydroplaning on the road or whatever. Maybe it wasn't always you going too fast or being too aggressive. Maybe because you're a good person, regardless of your financial situation. Maybe because no matter what life throws at you, you are determined in your character to be a good person, to show up. And even if people decide to try to take advantage of you or not tell you the truth, these are the things that you move out of your toolbox of reliability in life. You don't have to let it go on to where you absolutely resent yourself or resent the other person. You simply say, yeah, this isn't a match. Yeah, go be you. That's not a match. I don't treat people like that, and I'm not going to be treated like that. We have to turn the light switch on or off and realize if love is conditional or one-sided, if we release that guilt where we're blaming ourselves or we're walking around in imbalance, Libra is about simply saying, do you feel balanced? Do you feel like it's balanced? Do you feel like it's okay? And if you true are to thine own self be true. If you know that you're the one fighting for this, and you know that it's not fighting a good fight, if it's fight or flight type of a thing. So it doesn't always have to be bad that it didn't work out. Maybe it's just served its time, and we don't have to let go of the dream. We don't have to give up on what it is that we're going to manifest into our lives. Doors are going to close. Doors are going to open. But it's harder for the doors that want to open, the portals, the adventures, the resets. It's hard for that calibration, that recalibration to happen if we're too stuck in the past because, we didn't get our way yet, and we're going to force it into being. It just doesn't work. And the quicker that we realize that and say, you know what? I was created by something supernatural and divine, and I want to lean more into that than just mere mortals. I'm not going to let some human, be in charge of my wellness exclusively. I have to participate. I have to give a damn about what I'm eating, how much I'm eating, if I'm eating something. I don't have to be a fanatic. I mean, it's just as frustrating to see somebody that's OCD about holistic herbal stuff because they're still stressing mentally. They're still stressing emotionally. I can't relax unless I have my granola. I mean, you have to stop going to extremes with this and have the balance. The person that's drinking the Diet Coke might not be doing the best thing holistically, but if they're happy and they're good to people and everything, then maybe they'll pay a little bit of a price with their kidneys or whatever later on, or have a little bit type 2 diabetes or whatever. But, there's still find the joy in it instead of blaming the Diet Coke, or I'm not taking enough CoQ10, or, got to go do this, or I'm not a balanced person herbally. Just start letting the sweetness of our Mother Earth, our biological mother, start learning more about the benefits of it instead of judging yourself so harshly or falling into a pre-programmed category.
Have you talked to somebody who has to have their granola, Mary?
I just shake my head, with people that have to have oatmeal every morning. I mean, when you're a kid, I remember I didn't like wheat germ. And I remember that we had to either have grits or wheat germ or cooked oats. And if my mama would let me have some canned milk and some sugar in my wheat germ, then I could get it down. But it's like, what are these hot little sticky little weird cereals? Why can't I just go have my Cheerios or my Captain Crunch or whatever? It was so much easier for me to have the crunchy cereals with milk. And you've got to have that blackstrap molasses, and you've got to have that cream of wheat. And finally, I'm just like, I cannot do oats. I cannot. That stuff is sticky and weird. You can put all the cinnamon in it you want to. I can't do it. So I settled for, of all the ones I had to have cream of rice, I settled for the cream of wheat because at least it was kind of friendly.
I mean, that's what babies do, isn't it? It's like, I got to have, it's like, I need my milk. It's like, you need whatever, whatever. You'll survive. Well, I promise.
But it's okay for us to look at the different levels of dependency. Like there were some babies that it was really hard for them to give up the pacifier.
Yeah,
I was the blanket baby. Mom said she had to wait for me to go to sleep before she could wash my blanket. I still like soft blankets, but they don't own me. But that, instead of me sucking my thumb or doing the pacifier, I wanted my own little blanket. And so for me, that was like my little earth buddy. If I wanted to lay on the grass or lay on the blanket, it was just like my little companion along with some kind of dog from somewhere, because it's always been animals. But that didn't make the blanket evil. Now if I was 40 years old and had to walk around with the blanket all the time, society might go, well, that's a little odd. But there's a way you could.
I would think it.
Yeah, but there's a way you can become a quilter. Right. So I'm using some obvious things that you may remember from your childhood. There's all kinds of kids.
Every time.
Oh yeah, I like night lights too. Yeah. I didn't want it fully dark. Yeah. And there's some people I know that they cannot sleep unless the room is fully dark.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind a nightlight. It doesn't keep me up. Now, I will take the cell phone. If I'm going to listen to a podcast or something, I will take that cell phone when it's time to go to sleep, and I will go put it in the bathroom across from where I don't put a TV on most of the time. When I really want to sleep, the TV's not on. Other times, if I'm going to fall asleep on the couch, the TV can be on. I don't care because it's a different kind of thing. But when you really want to like open up the windows this time of year and hear nature and look at the stars when you have to get up and go to the restroom, there's something about that I think that we're missing because we're so plugged in. You know, we've got our earpods and we've got our cell phones and we're playing video games and we're watching movies and I do think more than ever, Joe, there's something to be said for, I can't tell you where they talk about it in the Bible, but where they're talking about be very aware of what you're putting your eyes into all the time. Like, where are you going with your eyes? What are you reading? What are you looking at? And if you can just start with 5 minutes, literally 5 minutes of going out and looking at the stars as the weather permits, or looking up at the sun, watching the wind move the autumn leaves, or whatever part of the world you're in, just the birds, whatever it is, 5 minutes of connecting with the very orbitable sphere that you live on, our Mother Earth. I think that we've gotten too leashed, technically, and we're missing out on what nature's wanting to, she's got a fury too. Nature's got a fury too. Look at the floods, look at the hurricanes, look at the earthquakes and things. I mean, you can snap your fingers and your whole life can change with that one car accident or that one medical diagnosis. So Libra reminds us, find the gratitude, find 3 things. I've said this before over the years that Joe and I have worked together. Tomorrow is a day, today is a day that's never been lived before in this life walk by you, so it can be your masterpiece. It can be your masterpiece. Just start with 3 things for which you are grateful. And then just embrace life with not expectation from other people, but feel that exuberance rise up in you at the potentiality, whether it goes left or right, the potentiality of the various things that you can embrace that will hug you back. And that you can give a soft moment to somebody when you're standing in line at the post office. Or in a grocery store or whatever. The smile, opening the door for somebody. There was a little old guy that was getting in the car the other day. You could tell he was a little frail. I was coming out of some store, and he was kind of having a struggle on Sunday getting into his car. And you want to let people have their dignity. That's really important. And he was kind of struggling to get in his car, and I said, "You want me to help you out and shut that door for you once you get in?" And he said, he's country, which I love. He goes, "Well, I'm a little slow. I'm a little older and I'm a little slow." And he said, but thank you. I can get it. And I said, I'm just walking by and I'm right here to let you just, have less of a struggle if you want it. But, it's going to be the way you want it to be. And he goes, "That meant the world to me that you just asked. I got it, honey. But the fact that you just asked made my day." Boom. Didn't cost me anything. Didn't cost him anything. In a moment when that man was struggling, there was a soft moment. And we respected his dignity and we laughed it off. And I just said, "Oh, I know what it's like. I've had my arm broke. I know what it's like to have to do those little rut rows. Life kind of slows you down sometimes." He said, "It does. But now that I've been slowed down a little bit, I'm looking at the things I should have looked at for a long time. And there was my wisdom. There was my gift. As I'm walking away, there was my oracle card. There was my psychic message, if you need to put all the flowers and horns on it." He said, "Yeah, now that life has slowed me down, I find that I'm looking at the things that I should have looked at a little deeper a long time ago." And I said, "Thank you for that." Boom. There was an angel talking to me through a little bent up older man, so it's true what they say biblically, that there are often angels among us unaware. So I went to give a soft moment to him without attachment, wanted to respect. If he wanted to do it himself, that was fine. He's a country man, that's fine. But he ended up giving me back words of wisdom that hadn't popped in my head for that day. So it's reciprocal. That's Libra. It's you think you're given and all of a sudden you're given back to, and it didn't have to cost either one of you anything except slow your ass down and pay attention to the power of the moment. So Libra to me, of all the air signs of Gemini, which is rapid fire communication and all kinds of options, Libra, what is actually bringing you peace? Can you get the peace in a moment, even if you're on the move, And then Aquarius, which says, and now how can I propagate that, and how can I pay it forward and bless other people, and what's the long range view? So when we've got an air sign new moon, it's about, let's focus on what's right in our world right now. What is bringing you peace? I don't care if you don't have that much and you just look at the sunrise and go, my God, look at that sunrise. Don't have much money in my pocket right now, but my God, look at that sunrise. And then instead of being frustrated that the check hasn't come yet or whatever, they've got more than you, it doesn't matter. We don't even know. There can be fabulously rich people out there. We have no idea what struggles they're going through, and I don't want to know. I don't want to know about their struggles. For me, it's like if somebody is a kind person and they don't have money, or they do have money, I just look at, is that person happy in their life? Does that person seem to have the corners of their mouth going up? Or is all that money stressing them out because they're so afraid that I got to save enough for my old age? Or what if I need to have a new deck on my house? They already have the money, but they're stressing that they might have to put a deck on their house, or they might have to, can I pay the lawn people next year? It's like, can you just enjoy today? You got your lawn mowed yesterday. What the hell are you worried about? We don't pause enough in the moment when the things do go our way, and they do go right. So Libra's the pause. Libra's about practicing the pause instead of diving into the anger of the opposite sign, which is Aries. Sometimes anger can be incredibly motivating. That's it. I'm not doing that way anymore. I keep bitching about eating ice cream every night, or I keep bitching about eating salted pistachios every night. And the doctor told me no more nuts. You got to settle down your colon and your digestive thing. So
there is such a thing as righteous anger.
It is.
I promise.
It is. Yep.
Some people may not like it. Some people don't like, they just don't want to be around anger. But I got to tell you, God wouldn't have gave it to you as an emotion if it wasn't needed sometimes. It's needed.
Right.
Sometimes.
Well, it can be motivating. The thing about anger is it self-destructive, self-defeating, or is it motivating? Most of the time, our anger, if we allow it to move us forward and be like, we just filled up our tank with, the fuel tank's now full. What are you going to do with that motivation? What are you going to do with that? And don't criticize yourself, and don't criticize other people for why things haven't happened. How can the anger be turned into motivation? Sometimes we need self-propellant. Sometimes, we got a lot of the match under our own feet type of a thing. And there's other times where it's just as effective, which is Libra. It's just as effective to step back from needing to do it all as much as you can, like overgive in the beginning of the relationship, or do too much at the beginning of a job, to just, do your part.
Sacrifice too much.
Right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So we learn from my point is we learn from all of it. It's all a teacher. One of the best lessons I learned is when I decided that it didn't have to be loss or pain or strife that needed to get my attention as a teacher, because I was always fast forward. So it's like, I don't need to have the baseball bat crack on the back of the head to get my attention. So when I started shifting and saying, what about this could be the sweet spot? Where can I give a sweet spot? And where can I allow the pause for the cause, the soft moment? Where can I decompress and just say, you know what? Sometimes we're working very effectively when we give ourselves an entire day, not to have to be around people. If you want to sleep in late, if you want to go to bed early, do you realize that sometimes if we just allow ourselves to self-regulate or to regenerate our own self, we present ourselves in so much more of a powerful way by doing that. So we've got this grand trine in the water signs. We've got a T-square that's taken place, and then we have one of those finger of God things that are going on that involve the point of fate, the yod or the finger of fate or the finger of God pointing at us. It's pointing at the sun and the moon in Libra and pointing over to the expansiveness of Jupiter and the sign of Cancer, which is home and hearth, and there's no place like home. How are you doing within your own self? Are you allowing, the things that are your comfort moments or your comfort moods? And if you're doing really good at changing things in your life, allow yourself to have some comforts as well, because you know what? If you don't prove to yourself that you deserve it, why would you expect somebody else to?
Well, yeah, for sure.
I mean, you've got to let yourself prove to yourself that Mary has to show Mary that Mary's worth it. Joe has to show Joe that Joe deserves it. You have to allow yourself to have the faith. You know, faith is the belief in things not yet seen, not yet felt. So faith is a supernatural hammer. Faith is a supernatural, whether it's a Phillips head or a flathead screwdriver, faith is a fuel. And so it's a tool. And if we don't bother to activate it, then faith is just sitting over there in the toolbox going, well, what are you doing? I'm right here. How come you don't pick me up? So I would say that I see Libra and Pisces, Saturn going back into Pisces, Neptune bouncing in Pisces. I feel that Libra and Pisces are very good faith tools, faith reminders. You know, Pisces is, go, I make you fishers of men. Greater works than these shall ye perform, saith the Christ. So faith, the fishes, you know, we can swim out of troubled water. Sometimes the two fishes are going in opposite directions, but faith is our dreams and the fantasy of seeing ourselves, you know, doing what it is that we want to do, that we dream to do. It's our dreams, it's our motivations, it's our out-of-body experiences, it's prayer. You know, Libra is the actual dedication of doing the prayer, doing the meditation. Quit talking about it and do it. You know, praying at the campfire, going to a bonfire, having a ceremonial fire. You know, it's like lighting the incense, lighting the white sage, the frankincense tears, or, you know, the essential oils in your diffuser. It's about hallowed air. You know, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So this is about initiating the so-called, air quote, invisible. Well, you know, I can't see it with my two eyes, but boy, if I activate my third eye, if I activate my eye that's single with the I am that I am, if I do that, then why don't it's free. It's free. So if I sit at my morning table having my coffee and say, Almighty I am, come into my world today, thank you for who I might bless. Thank you for who might bless me. Thank you for my ability that whatever you put in my path, I am protected by divine providence. I am surrounded by supernatural prosperity, and I have the responsibility of showing up in this world as authentic, with integrity, and anything or anyone that shows up in my world other than that will not abide with me. I will not hang out with those people, because those people, if I'm building a reputation of integrity and people can count on me and somebody tries to come in and pollute that, no. Because other people could be infected by somebody else's sinister agenda. And when I see that and I sense that, it's like, I'll shut that down. I'll shut that down, because they've already ripped off people. They've already conned people. And those kind of people are looking for the sweet people to kind of infiltrate their world. So when we come into Scorpio, as we do tomorrow on the 22nd, as we come into it at midnight, we start the Scorpio season, which has to do with how do we face the darkness and bring light into the darkness. So whether that's through your spiritual light or whether that's through you standing up to what's not right, I'm not going to go out there and change the world. I have to change me, and I have to be focused on the right now and the gift of the present every day. If I keep course correcting me, and if I keep having the dedication to make the best, better version of myself, my world only can improve, because I'm reliable, I'm dedicated, I'm not going to lie to people. They can avoid me if they don't want to hear what it is. Just don't ask the question if you don't want the truth, because it's just my opinion. It's not the truth of you. But if you want some direction, I can give you some soul empowerment exercises or insights. But ultimately, we've all heard it, you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So this is that, take a drink, the water's here, nourish thyself, be around the people that you know you can uplift and that uplift you without expectation, without strings attached to it. Just enjoy the gift of the moment. It's autumn, like spring. The Aries season and the Libra season are about look at how nature is changing right before your eyes. Shut the damn news off. Don't get into, this or that. Pray for people in war zones. Pray for the peace, Libra, to come into the war zones. Just pray for the peace. If we all could get out of the details of it and just say, I don't care who's nefarious, I don't care who's a greedy billionaire or who's got power or the puppet masters behind the scene. I'm tapping into supernatural grace, and I'm calling on the Almighty I Am, all that is, to protect all that are innocent, all that are thirsty, like the old Gaelic Celtic prayers. May you never thirst. May you never hunger. May you always find safe shelter. If we call that out there, then we are unified points of light. Really, we are. Really, beyond religion, beyond politics, and it's we the people. It's we the people. We're all Earth citizens, all of us, and we all play a part of that. We've got to start being sovereign in our soul and not letting any of these other things divide us. Yes, don't even tell me your political party. I may not trust any of it.
Remember, too, if you guys go back into the YouTube videos, if you look at the Justice card that's full of that Libra energy, there's a natural balancing act in nature that happens all the time, especially between people. So if you're not balancing, and I don't just mean it's all about balance, but if you're not loving and caring and being genuine to yourself as much as you are others and with integrity, nature will show you why you need to be. It will show you. I mean, it's inevitable. It's going to come around and happen to you, you know.
If you look at the Justice card, like Joe's saying in the Oracle cards in the standard tarot deck, and you even look at the Empress, she has the symbol of Venus. In a traditional tarot deck, she has the symbol of Venus or the symbol for female in the heart on that third major card of the Empress. The only reason I said the Wheel of Fortune and the Four of Swords is because at 28 degrees of Libra, at 28 degrees, 2 and 8 equals the 10. So it pulls the Wheel of Fortune. Choices equal consequences. That's part of the Libra scales too. The choice I make is going to have consequences. Plus or minus, good or difficult, the choice I make, like the Justice card, I make a choice. It's either in line with spiritual law and lessons and teachings, or I'm going in a deleterious direction with my intentions. And then you look at, because of the degree of Libra, this last degree of Libra, you look at the Four of Swords, which is the pause. It's the impasse. It's taking a deeper second look. Look at it as an opportunity. I'm telling you that this 28-degree Libra new moon is an opportunity of calm, of more peace, of introspection. It's whispering. It's whispering to you. Listen to your inner self. Recognize, third eye, let that eye be, recognize, see when it's time to withdraw from that part of the craziness of life. It's signaling you. It's a traffic light. It's signaling you, your soul, your heart are the traffic lights, and it's signaling you that pressures or stresses in your life are getting out of hand, getting out of control. That's what's creating the mental tension or the strongholds that's unhealthy for your body and your spirit. So Libra is simply saying, just look at it a little deeper and then ascertain, discern for yourself. Is this in line, in league with your higher purpose and your higher calling, or is it a distraction that's causing you to make difficult choices and unhealthy choices? That's Libra. In a nutshell, that's Libra. So there's a lineup of supportive lunar, which is our intuition, it's our ancientness, it's everything good, no matter what was difficult in your childhood. There's pluses and minuses to every parent, whether it's your biological step, foster, what. There's pluses and minuses to the males and the females that were a part, an integral part of your survivorship to here. And even the horrific things that I've heard over decades with clients, the horrific things, the things that men and women that I've worked with had to survive the abuses and all that, they ended up being incredible life warriors and survivors, and they didn't let it take them down with pill addiction or alcoholism, or they beat that too. If that was it was just their point of escape that they had to have for a while. It was so scary. There were so many monsters in their childhood. They needed the Xanax. They needed the Adderall. They needed the pot. They needed the alcohol. Just, I got to run. I got to shut off my head. I got to have some kind of place to hide. And it served its purpose. And now it's like, the reason it's bothering you, the reason it's affecting your health is because it did its job. It did its job. It simply did its job. That's all. So you don't have to hide all the time anymore. Instead, you can realize, wow, I really survived some shit. I mean, I really look at the storms that I plowed through. And I have to also believe, first and foremost, that the sunshine is my divine right too.
Yeah.
The sunshine.
And we got to take a break, and we'll come back and do the signs real quick, and then see if we can get some questions and answers. But always remember too, there's somebody else that's had it harder. And I don't care what your situation is. There's always somebody else that's had it harder, tougher.
Oh, absolutely.
And they came out of it too. So I'm not going to bring up Gareth, but that guy's my inspiration, and he's coming out of it. He's coming out.
Holy,
of it.
holy, holy.
So,
holy I am. Thank you, holy. Thank you, holy.
You can say what you want about your situation, how tough it is, but you have the heart to get through it. We all do. It's all inside of us. Every single one of us do.
And we're energetic. We're energetic conductors. So, Joe, you being inspired, and they're inspired. Inspiration in spirit. In the nation of spirit, inspiration, in spirit, in the nation of spirit, we send healing to people.
That's right. And hey, I can tell you for sure, even on personal experience, at least we can all do this, but I know for sure in this community that we do this. We affect each other that way too. I'll tell you about that actually when we come back. We'll also go through the signs with Mary, and then we'll take your questions for readings. Stay with us.
It's been so heavy for you. You must have felt so alone. The anguish and pain. I should have known. With such a heavy burden, you had to carry all on your own. Forgive me, son. I should have known. So close your eyes.
Listeners are advised that this program is a simulation.
This is Barbara Charlton from Metaphorical Archaeology. If you've ever had a traumatic paranormal experience, the effects of it may stay with you for years. Who do you talk to? You can't go to conventional help. What we do is we use emotional freedom techniques or tapping to actually neutralize the effects of that event. Maybe when you tell the story now, your heart races and your palms get sweaty. You don't even want to think about it because you don't know how to neutralize that. That's what EFT tapping does. It neutralizes those emotions. The circuit that was recorded on is gone. The energy flows freely and you're free of it. And that's what emotional freedom is all about. We offer this as a pro bono service, but this is something that I offer because no one, it seems, is helping people with these experiences. If you'd like to reach me, it's really easy. My cell phone is 214-995-3754. Please leave a message. I will get back to you as quickly as possible. Or you can email me, barb.eft@gmail.com. And EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. Reach out to me. It's confidential. This works. You won't believe the results.
This is Malorcas45, fan of the Fridge FM, challenging everyone to open their mind's eye. Listen to Lighting the Void with Joe Roop to gain precision for your third eye vision.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by the all-new Ed, the gas-saving sports car that gets 50 miles per gallon in the country and 45 miles per gallon in the city. Remember, these estimates are figments of our advertising department's imagination, and your mileage will probably be really lousy.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
This Halloween night, Fringe FM becomes haunted radio. Then, at 7 p.m., the curtain rises for the Sinister Symphony, a brand new horror radio drama. It's one night only, and tickets are disappearing fast. Get yours now at Eventbrite. Haunted Radio, here on Fringe FM.
In the static between worlds, you found us. Fringe FM.
At Lunamart, we've got everything you need for your next reality jump. Rations, radios, and replacement soles. Open 24 hours a day on most timelines. Lunamart, now serving realities 4 through 6.
Recording initiated. Transmission log 4. Live status unstable.
Machine, what's that noise on channel 6?
Feedback surge detected. Source unidentified.
Kill the feed before it burns the board.
Unable to comply. The noise is not in the system. It is the system.
Not tonight. Not again.
Integrity 0%.
Signal restored. You're still hearing Fringe FM, somehow.
Broadcasting from Forest Tower Studios, all the way from the Deep South. Now, here is your host, Joe Root.
And Mary Dusina. Man, Kurt, you gotta fix that one. Just blame it on Kurt. All right, so we're here with Mary Dusina. It's Cosmic Conditions night tonight, and I get really nostalgic around this time, though, Mary. Like, I'm already starting to feel slightly depressed, just a little bit, because I know Halloween's coming up. And then, for some reason, that's what anxiety is, right? You start worrying about the future. Depression's the opposite. You obsess over the past. But I start thinking, man, when Halloween's over, it's just going to be so cold. It's going to get dark earlier. I think I'm just going to run down to Florida, you know?
Yeah. A lot of people, when I notice in December, it's like, holy moly. It's like dark at 5:30, so it's a shift, it's a shift. And a lot of people don't fall into the Thanksgiving or the Hanukkah or the Christmas celebrations. There's people that have passed on. They've gone through breakups, or it's a year where they're playing solitaire in a sense. So again, I go back to, if you'll just start that mindset that this is a blank canvas. This day has never been lived before, so the discipline is I'm going to find 3 things for which I'm grateful, and then I'm going to expand, like Jupiter does in astrology. I'm going to expand how grateful I am. Sometimes I say to people, maybe you could focus on being grateful for some of the things that happened to other people that has not happened to you. Like, are you walking with crutches? Don't be guilted by this, but is Joe. I grew up with a mama. Joe had a very strong relationship with his grandma, his mama. But she would say to me, now let me just tell you, there's always, as Joe said, there's always people that have it worst. Believe it or not, then whatever you're going through, they've got it worst, and they may have it worse for longer. And there's always going to be people that seem to have it better than you. And she said, so, it's okay to ride the middle and accept the good with the bad and make the bad good. And here I am, 9 years old, sitting on the swing going, somehow I have to sort all that out and make sense with it, because she'd say it and she'd just walk away and let you put the floating pieces and the words flying around you together. But to this day, I can still say that those abstract country, mountain, mystic, mamaw things that she said to me absolutely were the forefront words that echoed. So the effective words, Libra, the air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, the effectiveness of your mindset, your what are going to be your mind strongholds. Let them be strongholds that are like the reins on a workhorse. You've got the reins and you've got the saddle, and the workhorse is here going, okay, give me a job. I want to do it. I'm bored. I'm a workhorse. Give me something to do. I can take the weight off of you, which is what the ox and the workhorse, the big draft horses, do. And speaking of that, for Aries, right now, this new moon, now remember the sun goes in Scorpio tomorrow. Here's a little bit of where it can get confusing to some people in the astrological analysis of things. The new moon is what sets the tone for the next 2 weeks. Even though we're not in the sign of Libra anymore tomorrow morning, we're in Scorpio. But the new moon is when the sun and the moon amplify, they align, they marry, as the Arabic astrologers would say. The new moon is when the sun and the moon are in the same sign, and therefore their force fields, the sun, the great star of the Milky Way, the giver of light that grows things and warms us on the planet, the moon that has her high tides and her dreams and our inner world. So the sun and the moon are together at a new moon. So that's where you want to focus. When I give you these forecasts, that's what this new moon's theme is for the next two weeks until we come to the November 5th, 6th full moon. And at the full moon, the sun and moon, as they say, separate or at opposite with each other. So at the full moon of November 5th, 6th, the sun in Scorpio will be opposite its polarity sign of Taurus. And then we'll be thinking more about the management of finances and our time and what we're wanting to do and where we're wanting to invest our energy and where we may see it as a debit or a credit. We'll be talking about that more so at the November new moon at 28 degrees of Scorpio. So this forecast is where the themes are most beneficial for you to focus on for the next 2 weeks until we get to that November 5th, 6th.
Is this for Aries?
For Aries.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. For Aries, the new moon is in your opposite polarity sign, which balances you. Aries balances Libra, Libra balances Aries. Not without some arguing in between, I'm sure, but Libra brings the peace. So Libra for Aries right now is bringing the theme or the energetic emphasis into partners, agreements, new contracts, new negotiations, any kind of relationship or partnership dynamic begins, whether it's business, whether it's intellectual, whether it's a concert of energies of somehow that other in your life is going to be bringing in the blessings. The fact that you're going over there or you're working with them on that is what's going to really amplify the progression of your life right now, especially over the next 2 weeks. So the collaborations, the teamwork flourishes as both sides yield a little ground. Mars in the Scorpio energy right now, for Aries, Mars in your 8th is giving you leverage. Your intuition is strong, but it warns against any attempts at manipulations because honesty will win. So with Mars and Mercury and the sun going into Scorpio, to thine own self be true, let thine eye be single, Aries. If you're Taurus, this new moon is bouncing out of the 6th house, the 6th realm of your star chart as far as the solar scope is concerned. So it's your health. It's what you want to endeavor to be a part of as far as your skill sets or your work and how you are being of service. Now, being of service might be how you're such a supportive neighbor or how you're the friend that can calm down the hyper person in your life. You're that, Taurus can often be that reliable person that if people can bitch about Taurus not wanting to change easy and all that. But let me tell you something, the Taurus people in your life are like steady rocks. It's just like, I'm right here. I'm still the same thing. Want to go eat, and it doesn't have to always be a big drama mama fest. So for Taurus, it's time for you to also bring peace, Libra, peace, to your routines and your workplace. How can you strategize to create more of those got to charge me back up moments, Taurus? So a balanced schedule will restore vitality for a Taurus. Venus is also your ruler, Taurus. So it's dignified in the sign of Libra. So it's favoring you, Taurus, to resolve disputes with any others, especially with any coworkers. And it's also inviting you to the different possibilities and positivity of new health rituals, new health routines, new things that might be involved in self-beauty, music, or harmony. Absolutely will be of benefit to you. So a lot of Taurus, I know there's certain old shows that they just love to watch. They might watch Big Bang Theory, or they might watch Friends, or they might watch some kind of old movie that's still black and white that their parents watched them. Why? Because Taurus and Cancer are signs that when they dip back into the nostalgia of the past, somehow that comforts them. It's like, I remember the first time I saw the very first Star Wars movie, and if they watch it again, even parts of it, it takes them back into that time, maybe when it was calmer for them. So for Taurus right now, it's take care of the routines that support you the most and stress you the least. If you're Gemini, this new moon hits the 5th house. It's the house of pleasure and creativity and love and artistry and dancing with joy and dancing with chance. So Uranus has just shifted into the sign of Gemini. So there's like these sudden, sharp points of creativity or inspiration. You may channel it into art, performance, inspiring other people. Gemini can often do that. They also can be the seeds of light for the people around them. There's something about younger people or children and them, younger people than you. It could be a young adult or a teenager that just out of the blue says something and you're just like, wow, that clicked. That's it. So for Gemini right now, it could be around grandkids or someone else's kids or a student, or you haven't been in high school for years, but all of a sudden somebody out of high school just says something and it's just like, man, that's timeless. That right there was an inspirational treasure. So it's popularity, it's warmth, it's engaging. So if you're a Gemini, just know that you could be very inspiring to someone that's not at your age point of an adult yet. And it could be, if you're a Gemini teenager, that you could be granting a soft moment for an adult or someone older than you instead of just the teenage rebellion or the college, partying so much that you pass out on the sidewalk. So it's about trying to get in, channeling that information and that enthusiasm and that, that adrenaline rush into something that can be productive more than just like, oh, I got so drunk last night. Level it up a little bit, Gemini, because you're going to be effective without just being stoned and drunk all the time. If you're a Cancer moon child, this new moon in Libra is very important. It's your 4th house of home, the foundation of your life. If something about your domicile, something about your place of living has been frustrating you, make peace with it. Libra is make peace with it so then it can shift. The more you're fighting with it, the more you're criticizing it, the more it's like, I hate this place. I don't want to live in this apartment anymore. I don't like this town.
Makes sense.
What you're doing is you're creating like a little tornado of energetic aggression, and you're manifesting a storm. You're like giving the storm energy instead, just like, I like the wind, don't need a tornado. I love the ocean, I don't need a tidal wave, and I don't need the undertow. So it's okay if you've decided that you don't like your living quarters. It's okay. You don't have to be at war with that.
If you're tired of the ocean, I'll trade with you right now. Right. Yeah. You don't have to have a timeshare. Just, you want to go live in the mountains or go hunt for crystals? Yeah, Joe can tell you where you want to be with that. I'll swap with you.
Yeah, that's right. I'll swap it. Let's do it. Let's do a 1 month swap. Let's do that. 2 month swap. That'll happen. Mm-hmm. So if you've got this energetic of a Cancer rising sign or a Cancer moon or a sun sign, emotional peace at home for you is paramount. It's paramount. So you need to first set the example by stop fighting with it.
All right.
And so Jupiter is now in your sign. Hey, it's going to be in your sign. Jupiter's happy in the sign of Cancer the Crab, and it's going to be there until like late June of 2026. Not been there for 12 years. Do the math. Last time Jupiter was blessing the sign of Cancer, as it will do for a year, last time it was blessing you was 12 years ago. So when you get off this podcast or you replay, do the math. So it's your time to be blessed by Zeus, by Jupiter. The most benevolent energy in astrology is Jupiter. Jupiter was Zeus in Greek mythology, and so it's amplifying blessings when you act ethically. And the domestic changes are manifesting. Our domestic life mirrors our inner equilibrium. There's another word for Libra, equilibrium. So the equilibrium is returning. This particular new moon for Cancer risings, Cancer moons, Cancer suns is saying, come April, you've manifested it. So be at peace knowing that you don't have to fight with or be leashed or at war with your home environment anymore. Like that old hammer, that old screwdriver, thank it. Thank it for all that it did do for you. Bless it, clean it, freshen it up. Just put white vinegar, and you can work with white vinegar and clear out a lot of mold and stuff. You don't have to use bleach and harsh chemicals, but do something symbolic, magically, if you will, just to simply let the vinegar get rid of all the smells and all the odors and some of the mold. And it's symbolic. It's a ritual. It's a magical ritual that you say, I'm going to clean you and bless you, or use cedarwood oil. You can go buy a $6 bottle of cedarwood oil or frankincense and just put it all over the place because you have cleansed the air that you're wearing. If you're a Leo, this new moon at 28 degrees of Libra, so it adds to a 1, which is a 10, manifest. If you have a Leo rising, you're a Leo. Pluto's gone back into Aquarius. So Leos had one of the toughest summers and birthday cycles that I've known. I know a lot of Leos. I was married to a Leo even. I know a lot of Leos. I like Leos, but I don't take any crap from them. So Leos are bouncing back from a tough summer. Like their birthday was odd this year, July and August born Leos. So the Scorpio energy and the Libra favors you. It's the L team I often talk about, Libra, Leo. So your words carry weight now, even the words you're saying inside your head. So if you're mediating conflicts, if you're reviving friendships through kind speech, Venus in Libra is enhancing eloquence around you. Your ability to inspire and show appreciation is at top level, high gear. And this is an excellent new moon for what you are to learn, what you're to teach, diplomatic. I would avoid gossip. I would honor your word. And I believe, Leo, no matter what your age, young or old, this is a time where Spirit is saying to you, you're going to rise up from this and put your energy and your focus into this over here that blesses other people or those animals or whatever charity or function you want to get into. Leos thrive when they're able to be involved in something that gives and inspires another. If you're Virgo, this new moon's in your second house of finances. Oh my God, I've heard so many people that are Virgo or Virgo risings talking about, the money, the money, the money, the money. Second house has to do with what we value. Is it a debit or a credit? So any kind of contractual issues, Mars and Mercury are dignified in your third house, Virgo. That Scorpio energy is going to help you figure out a plan, meet the right workman, get the job done type of a thing, but it's one step at a time. It's one step at a time. Just kind of relish in the accomplishment. I had a Virgo today that finally got somebody to come out that's really country and trim her rooster spurs. That Rooster Joe that we named after our beloved Kev Baker, our Scottish Kev Baker. When she got these chickens and this one rooster 3 years ago, I said, I'm naming that rooster Kev Baker. It's Kev Baker. And if his mom's listening, Pearl, I'll send this to you. This rooster is so eloquent and so tall. Even the country guy, Joe, that came out said, I got over 20 roosters. And I tell you what, that's the biggest, prettiest rooster I've ever seen. And so he petted it. Oh, yeah, it definitely is. So Captain Kev is what I call that rooster. He had never had his spurs trimmed. And he's jumped me before and cut my legs and all. So he got trimmed today, and I prayed over him. I'm country, but I prayed over him. I was cleaning out the chicken house and putting essential oils, and I knew Kev was going to have an intense afternoon before I left. And I said, now, Kev, I'm going to pray. You're not going to bleed out. It's going to be okay. And when I talked to my friend later, she said, oh, my God, he cornered the rooster. He picked it up. He trimmed the spurs, and it barely bled. And I'm like, there you go. And the girl that came with him, they're just really good country people that know the dangers of roosters. And he said, that's the prettiest rooster I think I've ever seen. I wasn't even there. I said, I'm not going to be here when they take those spurs off. But my friend said, I saved those spurs for you so you can put them in your medicine bag. And I said, that's okay. But Kev was okay. So Kev in spirit, your rooster's okay. So if you're a Virgo, it's just about taking one step at a time, getting these little things off your list, because you Virgos overthink the crap out of things. I mean, you lose your sleep because you can't shut your mind off. So try to just focus on the chores that you did get done. If you're Libra, hey, you've had your birthdays, the September Libras and the third week of Libra, and now we're coming to Scorpio tomorrow. So you have come to your first house. This is your solar return. It's a renewal of self. It's your personal rebirth, charm, renewing your charm, allowing vitality, and focusing on purposefulness. So you're redefining your desires, your image, your balance, your approach to your relationships. You're shedding indecision. You're taking that fear coat off and putting on the cloak of faith. You're embodying grace with conviction, Libra, with conviction. So other people notice, here's the thing about Libra, other people notice calm authority. That's your theme, Libra, calm authority. If you're Scorpio, a whole lot of stuff is already loading up there, Scorpio, before your birthday's starting on the 21st, 22nd, this year, 22nd of October, going into November. This new moon, even though Scorpio starts tomorrow, this new moon is in your 12th house of rebirth. So you're getting ready. You're in your 12th house. It's embryonic. It's what's getting too crowded. I'm coming into a whole new lifestyle, and that's going to be happening by the time we get to the Scorpio new moon 30 days from now. So for the next 2 weeks, Mars is in your sign. It's been 2 years, Scorpio, since Mars has been into Scorpio. Scorpio and Taurus right now have the biggest changes going on. It's strong in your sign. It empowers you, Scorpio, to get the urge to purge. So you've got to purge and release what no longer is fair for you or them. Solitude right now, that's the 12th house. Solitude, Scorpio, brings clarity. Your dreams will reveal the truth. You're going to be dreaming really strong like Pisces. Prepare for a powerful set of circumstances next month. Probably will come in pretty quick. If you're Sagittarius, it's in your 11th house of friends and network and community and neighbors. You're reconnecting. You're redefining your group goals. Venus is softening the tensions that have been around you since June. It's inviting more positive collaboration. Saturn is in your 4th house again in Pisces, so that'll stabilize your emotional roots, and you're going to be able to build from that place of confidence, not necessarily just popularity, but the fact that you've got your foundation is pretty good right now. Saturn saying, okay, this is what works in the home life with your wife, with your husband, with your kids. This is what you let them get away with and what didn't work. So don't go backwards, go forward, Sagittarius. Capricorn, this new moon's right at the top of your chart. It's in the 10th house. It's your reputation. It's your career. You're going to might be changing attorneys. You might be changing bookkeepers or accountants. There's something that you need to tighten up that has to do with those components, those moving parts of how your ambition in your business flows. And initially, Capricorn, they like to find the good person and stick with it. But every once in a while, Capricorn, there needs to be a changing of the guard. So although you aim for fairness, maybe somebody's time of being your attorney or being your accountant or being your main salesperson, maybe that just needs to shift. And it served its purpose. Doesn't have to be a bad parting, but it's time for somebody else to come in and invigorate your business. Mars is in your 11th house, and that gives you strategic alliances. If you're Aquarius, Pluto's bounced back in. The new moon's in your 9th house of higher love, higher vision, spiritual connectiveness, travel. Not all journeys are physical. Out of body, different kind of mindsets and beliefs, inspiration spiritually, culturally, getting back to your roots. I'm Scottish. What do they believe? I'm Irish. Maybe I need to control my temper. I'm Italian. Maybe I could eat, gluten-free pasta. So there's some things going on, Aquarius, that if you felt delusioned, if you felt pressured since August, Saturn Now in Pisces in your second house is going to give you more discipline. It'll give you spiritual insights, and it'll give you a more profound now. So you've got to lean into what now feels like a secure base for you, Aquarius. And finally, Pisces, the new moon is in your most psychic place. It's in the 8th house. It's who you share your table with. It's who you share your money with, joint accounts, joint endeavors, where you're inviting joint intimacy, who you're allowing yourself to be vulnerable with. I really believe that there's divine intervention going on with Pisces right now. Healing trust issues is key. I'll say it again. Healing any trust issues, lack of trust issues is key. Financial mergings, understanding your emotional vulnerabilities, and spiritually surrendering will align with this water trine that's going on between Jupiter and Cancer, and the Scorpio planets, they favor Pisces, and the fact that Saturn and Neptune are bouncing back into Pisces. So Venus will grant you peace through honesty. So you're ending debts, you're literally or karmically rebuilding through shared faith. So I feel like it's with the comets and the Orion meteor showers and the things that are strong over our heads, above our heads, these portents of change. Comets and meteors are always seen as, by kings and queens and rulers, like portents of big change. And I do see that between now and December 19th as we come into winter solstice. I think that the end of 2025 has the potential of bringing more of a lasting peace and course corrections than any of the other months of this year, of 2025. But are you ready to accept that you can have that peace that passeth all understanding? Because that's what Saturn in Pisces since 1995 is wanting to wrap up and bring to us. Absolutely.
Good stuff. Mary, I can't get the phones up tonight. Is it okay if certain people ask you for reading in chat? Maybe we'll get some new people that way.
Well, yes, and also a reminder that we're going to do full bore readings on October 30th.
Yeah.
So those of you that are listening to this, that's my contribution. That's my birthday gift to everybody. It won't be the astrological thing. It'll be all about what your Halloween treats. The trick will be to get through either through chat or phone. Hopefully we'll have the phones working by then, because I love to hear the voices, but I'm going to be doing that. That's my tithe. That's my gift, to be able to grant you psychic and intuitive and oracle insight. Thank you, baby.
So here we go. So April wants a reading. I don't know if April's ever gotten a reading too. That's kind of what I wanted to do, chat, because I feel like some people don't really want to call, but they want to, just to hear a little. Okay. So you want a card, April? Please, she said, yeah.
Okay, just know that I don't look at the chat because I like to remain really neutral. That's Joe's looking at that, so don't think I'm looking at that, because my eyes are closed at my kitchen table and I'm listening to Spirit. So the thing that I want to say to April is, I see a mountain. I love mountains and I love oceans, but I see a mountain, and what I see with the mountain is a major challenge is going to be overcome. Like whatever seems to have been like a two steps forward, and it seems like I go back one, and I got the 10 of Pentacles, and I feel like that the winter season of this year, that officially, when you look at a medicine wheel or you look at the signs, Capricorn is the sign that opens up Yuletide, winter solstice. I feel like there is a coming together heart to heart for April, and I feel like it's a multi-leveled type of prosperity. Her personal life, whatever's been a deficit or whatever seems to have been missing or a minus, and she wished that would become more of a plus. I feel like there's going to be more of a congruency. I feel like if there's been a gap, if it's been a long time since she dated, if it's been a long time since she's really felt at one in an intimate realm in her life or with a partner, that's going to be taken care of. And I feel like that the mountain is that she's finally realizing that she doesn't have to always be climbing, that she can reach that top and realize that, looking just like kind of like the hermit in the tarot, Joe, that the hermit lights the way on top of the mountain for the people. And they realize when they get to the top of the mountain, when they were seeking answers and the bigger view, often you realize that it was the climb up the mountain that ended up giving you every quality and every gift that you needed. It was the journey that helped you arrive at the blessings at the top, when you get to the top, to see the bigger view or the panoramic view. So I feel like that, it's interesting. I keep feeling that March, April, even though her name is April, March, April of 2026, it feels like that a lot of things that were leashing her, or the loops that she was going through and the loosh that she needed to cleanse and get rid of. I feel like as she gets into that March, April, that Aries period of 2026, I feel like that all the confidence that she wondered where it went is building from now, from late October all the way into the end of April. I feel like that there's a bridge between right now when we're talking to you, April, and where you are in April. And I would love in March, April, if you would get back in touch with Joe and I and be able to give us some kind of a report card on, well, guess what happened? Yeah.
Yeah, because those, I don't know, those are the feedback stuff. It keeps everything full circle. It's not just a validating thing, but it also keeps everything moving in full circle. It's good energy, So, yeah.
It really is. Well, the testimony of it inspires other people that don't get in chat or that don't call in, or simply say, well, I don't think that would work for me. Well, okay, well, Joe and I don't know April, and I've never, I don't remember that name or reading for her, although we've been doing this for 6 years. But I'm just saying, April herself takes in the information, and then she can say, yep, that's what I had to climb. That's the mountain. I mean, she'll remember it. And I always encourage journaling, whether it's our dreams, the dream symbols. I mean, you may get one symbol in a dream, but I tell you what,
it's deep.
I've had some dreams lately, and it's definitely talking. This is a very strong dream cycle and dream work cycle over the next 30 days, big time.
How about that, April? That's good stuff. I wanted to, and make sure you get back to us too. Call back if you can once I got the phones up, and let us know what happened too. I want to say too, because I promised I said it before, and it is the Libra thing. I want to say something about this community. I know that we're not very big, and that's never been a concern of mine, but I want to let you guys know, right off the bat, that any time that you guys focus your energy, magic happens. Every single time that I've asked you guys either for help or for some kind of positive energy for a person or for a situation, even when I asked you guys for me, everything has came to pass. Every single thing. So if any of you guys out there are doubting your energy in this audience, please don't. Because it's been a blessing, honestly. It really has.
It continues to be. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see who's next. Linda Dragon Rose. Linda said, I would love a card. Dragon Rose.
Okay, let me focus on this. And by the way, I'm working with there's a beautiful tarot deck called the Star Tarot. If you really appreciate a bigger card, or the artistry of a card, or you like picking a one-card thing, I can't tell you. I've got a lot of different decks, but that Star Tarot deck is something. I mean, it's beautiful. So it's interesting. We mentioned
which
this
one
card,
is that?
So
will you send me a picture of it?
I will. It's called the Star Tarot deck. The Star Tarot, and it's almost an 8x10 box.
It's a big one.
It comes in, and the artist, and the artist is Kathy McClellan, and I will send you it. It's been a long time since the tarot deck and its art has not only combined the medicine wheel and the elements and the artistry, just staring at the cards will open up your psychic ability. That's my validation.
Okay.
The Empress card is up here, and what's emphasized on this Empress card for Dragon Rose is there's an owl. Again, this is the Star Tarot deck. There's an owl flying in with a white star above this Empress. There's a full moon, so I would immediately say the next full moon, November 5th and 6th, the one in Taurus, is going to be very energetic. There is a fruit tree that has pears on it. There's another fruit tree that has, and they're full. They're lush with the fruits, apples and pears. Maybe that means something. There are doves flying around, calla lilies, and there's 2 crescent moons at the bottom, and she has butterfly wings. So there's something about nature and animal totems right now for Dragon Rose that I feel is very strong. But the butterfly, the wings on the butterfly of this Empress character, and the full moon just rising behind her back with these, the butterfly wings look like stained glass. So maybe stained glass is an artistry that Dragon Rose identifies with. There's also the white swan. Now, whenever I see a swan, I hearken back to one of mine when I was 14 years old, when I got into the teachings and the writings of Paramahansa Yogananda. He wrote a book called Autobiography of a Yogi. He also has several other offerings, and he was the teacher that brought the East to the West. He combined the Christ energies with meditation and founded the Self-Realization Fellowship. Paramahansa Yogananda means the swan, the beauty of the swan. So maybe Yogananda, Paramahansa Yogananda might be one of the teachers that she might get into. His little pamphlet, which you can pull up free online, the Divine Healing, Paramahansa Yogananda, the way that he has, it's called Healing Affirmations, and it's got like these little sentences, and I'm telling you, the words jump off the page as far as just resonating with, if you want to promote something that you're working with and you want to have divine healing on that or divine inspiration on that, just try some of the Yogananda stuff and just put the energy onto it. You know, it's like it electrifies the air, the atmosphere that you're around. So the 3 is important. It could be 3 weeks from now. It could be the 3rd of November. It could be someone's birth date that adds to a 3, the Trinity. I think about things that are in 3. And the Empress is the great realizer of separating the wheat from the shaft of the golden harvest. So she's Libra energy. She's got the Venus energy. So it has a lot to do with what artistic modality are you bringing life to or beauty into. And it's almost like there's the Libra scales again. Like, I really want to focus on this in my life. And because of me focusing on that and investing my love and my magic and my energy and my faith as fuel into that, wow, look at what it's becoming. So it's kind of like faith and then testimony, faith and then bearing witness and teaching and speaking about something that literally is now the new lighthouse of your life.
Get back to us on that one too. Remember, October the 30th, which will be broadcasting the Halloween special. Always, Hallows Eve, in my opinion, is part of the Halloween special. So if you want to call in, then I'll make sure I have both phone lines up. Running 2 phone lines is pretty tough sometimes, but we got to for Halloween. So October the 30th. Did we nail down a time? We did nail down a time, didn't we, for you to come on?
We did not.
Well,
I didn't know if you wanted it to be 10 to midnight on October 30th or how you wanted to do it.
Yeah, it'd probably be better. I'll tell everybody for sure, and I'll announce it, everywhere. So,
good.
Dragon Rose says,
we want to give to you. Yeah, we want to give to you.
My latest project is sharing my uncle's life online on YouTube, and he was a mystic and a priest, so this resonates. And I am giving you your shout out, Tazar, TS. So it's Star, and then your username is TSAR. This would be the last one for the night. So, what's a card? A tarot card, basically.
Okay. All right. Let me see. Ooh, I got the 20. I got the Judgment. This is. I need to send you a picture of this, Joe. Can you put pictures in chat or no?
I might be able to. I mean, not at the moment. But you know what I'd like to start doing is, well, I'll tell you later. But I'd like to start popping up these cards on the screen live. If I knew what deck you were using, I could do that.
Okay. Well, all right. We'll do that. We'll start to do that. But I'm going to send Joe this picture so he might be able to, because it's the collective picture of the night. If it's the final card, it's the collective picture of the night. Card. And it's the Judgment card. And in this deck, it's so different. I mean, I always, when I've taught tarot, I tell people, try to learn on the Rider-Waite deck. Try to learn on a traditional deck, the Hanson-Roberts deck, so you can learn all your symbols. And then you can take it out into other decks. You can take it out into other decks and expand your knowledge with it instead of just being yet another parrot, so to speak, of tarot. But this card, this has a Native American indigenous person. You can see the feathers. They have their hands raised up to the heavens. There is a rainbow arc going straight up. And now most indigenous cultures see the eagle as Great Spirit. There is the bear that's formed out of stars, and then there's the eagle with the wings up, and this rainbow energy, this chakra, full chakra energy is going straight through the middle of the bear up into the eagle's mouth that is open. These are the sky teachers, the white eagle and the star bear, and they're receiving, they're sending up their love from their heart chakra and their third eye chakra, and they are receiving the blessing. So this isn't praying, asking for something. This is the receiving of the blessing, the manifestation of something from the as above, so below. And so the judgment is, you have been granted favor. You have been granted favor. A wish will come true. The manifestation is real. It is palatable. It's going to be something that you actually can say, my God, you know, I may have spent 20 years or 15 years hoping that this would happen for me.
That's good.
Boom. And here it is. And here it is. So it's the judgment card. Normally in a tarot deck, the judgment card is Archangel Gabriel sounding the golden trumpet, and people that have been they're floating on the ocean, and it's a resurrection card. They're literally coming up with their hands up to the heavens because they have been brought up by supernatural favors. So Gabriel is sounding the trumpet. The ascension and the resurrection is happening, and those, as we say in the South, sometimes instead of saying someone passed away or that they're dead, they say they're asleep in Christ. And when I first heard that, I'm like, what is that, Mama? And she goes, well, they're sleeping in the Christ until the resurrection. But there's all kinds of different kinds of ascending and resurrecting. If you go through a divorce or you go through a job loss, that was a death, and you're coming into the resurrection, and you learned something from it, even if it wasn't fun. So I feel like this is like literally the chicken comes out of the egg. You know, this is literally like you're leaving an old life.
Big
There's
time. This is
benefits
big
to that.
stuff.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is big. Yeah, there's only 21 of the major cards in the tarot, and then there's the never-ending circle of life, the Fool. But this is the 20th card where you make a major decision in your life in league with your sacred guardian angels. This is big stuff. This is big medicine. Which is why I feel like medicine, you know, good medicine, often you will see symbols of Peruvian or Native American cultures, you know, indigenous cultures, Aboriginal, the Anastasia, the star. You're going to see old cultures that are part of humanity come up, Eskimos, and you're going to see these symbols in art cards when it has to do with a timeless truth that's still a treasure, then, now, and always. So I'd say it's the treasure chest is opening up.
Listen, there's a video on my channel with a full, big, in-depth esoteric report on the judgment card too. And what I mean by that is people think, you guys got to understand the tarot, every secret in the Western mysteries, every single so-called secret is in that deck. The alchemical process, right? The transcendental process, the 12 signs, the 4 elements, the 7 planets, everything is in that, like every part of you that all of these people have been putting together for years and years and years through their studies and meditations. It's all in this deck. And so like, go check out that report on that judgment card, and it'll probably hit home. And then I know for sure, hopefully you'll be calling back and telling us, oh my God, this happened, you know, and if it does, please call us back. You know how many times I've heard people say, yeah, Mary said this and this thing came to pass, or I missed that opportunity or whatever. And it's like, why didn't you call in the show? Like, complete the circle. Just do us a favor. Just call in and let us know. You know, when I have the phones
validation.
open.
When you validate it, when you validate it, then you're accepting that spirit touched your life. You know, it's not about me. It's not about Joe. Right. We're just conduits. We're all satellites. We're all receiver dishes, and we're broadcasting and we're receiving. I like being a spiritual receiver dish. I like the satellite part of it, that I'm making sure my transmissions, I want to be open to receiving the divine intervention. I want that. That's what I want. And how I broadcast it is exactly how it's just flowing through me as that satellite dish, being a soul satellite dish. It's exactly what I do with my clients, whether I'm doing an astrological celestial weather forecast or I'm doing a intuitive reading for them to help them get unlocked and give them some keys with where their soul has gotten bound up, and their soul already knows that the truth is there. They just have to invest the time and the energy to be able to say, you done with the drama yet? You done with blaming yourself? You done with dealing with the same heavy boots all the time? You know, you can leave the battlefield. You can leave the battlefield. You don't have to do the same battles all the time.
Yeah, so you guys, before we roll out of here, Mary, make sure you go to marydusina.com and get a reading too. There's updated info on the website. We're still updating the info on the website, but it is a life. If you haven't, at least do your first one, right? Like if you haven't done the first one, you're missing out. And I keep bringing up my shows too, but I did a whole show about intuition, in-depth intuition, and real psychic abilities. And that ability, Mary has tapped into it. We all have it, but Mary not only has tapped into it, but she can help you tap into it deeper too. You know?
Oh yeah, that's the big win. That's the big win. When you get a reading with someone, whoever it is, not just tooting my own horn here, when you get a reading with someone that is mainly confirming feelings and energies that you've gotten going, oh my God, yes, I felt better. Yes, that's the way that you're getting a validation with your holy guides, that's the information that's coming through. I mean, to me, it's always a concert. It's my guides talking with your guides, and you're getting those information points. And if it can shear off some months or help you have more of a validation, then you're going to have your faith tank filled up even more, because there's no way someone could have known those things. And then you got a validation on the things that really do matter most at this point, that are in divine timing.
You can call it what you want. You know, people can say, there's always the skeptics, but other people call it the Holy Spirit. You can call it your higher self. You can call it the deep unconscious, the collective. It's all the same thing. It's divine. Yeah. And it's always trying to guide you and speak to you. I believe that with my whole heart.
Me too.
Experienced it too. So, final message of the night for this new moon broadcast, Mary.
Ready? Close your eyes. Take a breath. Forget about enlightenment. Sit down wherever you are and listen to the wind singing in your veins. Feel the love, the longing, and the fear in your bones. Open your heart to who you are right now, not who you would like to be, not the saint that you're striving to become, but the being right here before you, inside you, around you. All of you is holy. You're already more and less than whatever you can know. Breathe out, touch in, let go, receive. Amen.
Thanks, Mary. It's a
You're welcome.
Great broadcast. All right, guys. It won't be usually we have to wait for the moon to cycle, but she'll be back October the 30th. Hallows Eve. For readings, Oracle and Tarot and reading. Yeah, make sure you wish her a happy birthday too. Don't forget to do that.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Night, y'all. Sweet dreams. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other.
Tombstones climbing up the sky.
All right.
To claim the boredom and the whine of the radiator. To freeze the fates that intertwine. Unresolved and undefined in this echo chamber. Just like Lazarus, you know there's an operator, some strange passenger inside. To that strange power I'm resigned like an iron anchor.